The world of Minecraft is familiar, but like a newborn, we enter this world unaware of the horrors that crawl on its surface and in its caves. Hello everyone, and welcome back once again to Minecraft. And today, we're going to be trying out a mod that is a little bit different from the ones that I normally cover, but which you've been requesting heavily and for a long time. And that is Scape and Run Parasites. We're actually kind of fortunate. We're starting off near a village, so we have something of a normal start, some reason why we're in this world, not left completely high and dry. The downside is we've got people to protect. Now, the reason this is so different from what I usually cover is because normally I go for things that are more subtle scares, things that add a haunting or some corruption to the world, but this one is more of a creature feature, adding a huge number of NPCs, and those NPCs are supposedly horrifying. Now, I haven't researched what they are at all. I have no idea what to expect or how we'll need to adapt to survive. I haven't looked at any screenshots. The only thing I know is that apparently they're actually much more than just mobs that are added to the vanilla lineup. They actually have unique and disturbing behaviors, and so there may have to be an element of observation to this. Standing here in the shadow of a mountain, a lava flow erupting forth from it. How long has that been there with us unaware of what was waiting beneath? Look at how cool that looks. Look at how cool that looks. Now, what I'm really wondering is, when are we going to start seeing these things? Are they going to come to us, or are we going to have to go find them? Well, if we do have to find them, I guess the best place to start would probably be the caves, right? I've got some coal here, but I'm not seeing any iron to start us off with. Oof. Oh, hey, buddy! I forgot, there's all the usual mobs to worry about as well. Well, if we just swim up this waterfall in defiance of all logic, perhaps we can make something happen. Is there a cave in here? There is. Okay, that'll make things a bit easier. Well, that's a sound I've not heard before. Good doggy? I don't even have any kind of armor. No. It's just standing there. It's not even coming for me. I took 2 steps into a cave and immediately found nightmare fuel. What do I do? Part of me wants to attack it to see if I can extract anything from it, but the other part knows that that's probably a bad idea. And what if it has friends down there? There's upsides and downsides to the people of my village being a bunch of uncurious morons. The downside is that you never make major discoveries like this. We've never extracted the resources from this tunnel. The upside is that they've never encountered this thing, and now I've gone ahead and broken that. Oh, even the coal looks so different. It is so weird playing in such an earlier version. I think this is like 1.12 or something like that. Alright, let's quickly bank most of our stuff and try and learn how it is you work. Oh, it's a dark and stormy night now. We got close enough to place that torch. Can we move around you? Stop making those noises. I don't like it. Thinking perhaps if we can just scooch around, we'll be okay. Oh my god, you're moving. You're moving. Oh my god, you're chasing me, you're chasing me, you're chasing me, you're chasing me. That did not work, that did not work. Okay, back up. It's like when you look down and realize there's a bug on your arm, and before you can even process visually what's there, you just see the spot, and you immediately want to swat and flail your arms. You're coming towards me, but slowly. And now you don't even seem to care anymore. Okay, nope. Alright, that was easier than it looked. And there's more! Oh, and something different as well! Ow, it's doing something to me. Why are you behaving this way? What did you do? Call of the hive! And you dropped something as well. Call of the hive, what does that... I think these things might be like bees. Like they inject us with something and that secretes like a pheromone maybe that calls the rest to me? You just sort of lie in wait. You're like trip mines. And also, I think what I thought was the head of you was actually the rear. Wow, you really are just that ugly, huh? But, okay, we needed access to this mine, and now we've got it. So we should take what we can while we can. And let's not forget all the usual threats are down here. Did they change the range on hitting things at some point? It feels like it feels like I have way less reach than usual. Oh, there's more out there. Oh, I wonder how these things will behave with the vanilla mobs. There's a different one. So far all we've seen is different variations of this same creature. They come in green, black, and red. Is that called the hive? 9 seconds. I'm wondering if this is an effect that lasts that long, or if something happens in 5 seconds. Okay, there it goes. Ruptor viscera. Chunks of the insides of a ruptor, a lure component. So these things actually drop tissues that we can use to craft things. Well, I do like to think of myself as the town scientist, the bookworm. Now I'm gonna have to help deal with actual worms if we're to have any hope of survival. I think there's something else down here with me. Besides creepers. With any luck, they'll deal with each other. Okay, I think whatever else that was, I don't want to be dealing with it. These things probably act as some kind of drone. Call of the hive. That means there's a hive somewhere. That is very, very close. Go, 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 go. Daylight. Yes, daylight. Up out of darkness. Who cares if it's raining? I've got to go report my findings. Oh my god! What are you? Are you... Oh my... You're a villager! Or you were! Look at that! Ah! One of those things came out of you when I killed you, or something like you. That door is left open. No, that door is torn down. Where are they? Guys! Have you seen what happened? You need to get inside right now. Whatever this is, we didn't just find it, it's come out. We've, like, activated it, roused it somehow. So, I guess at this point you have already met. I can see you're panicking right now. I'll just tell you what I know. There's something in the caves under the mountain. Some kind of insect creatures and something else groaning in the deep. Alright, look guys, I was the first to encounter them, and I'm sorry, that's probably the reason they came over here and got Jimmy. But I'm gonna get to the bottom of this, okay? I'm gonna start a mobile research lab post-haste. This will do as my headquarters. And we'll try and come up with some sort of defense. But first things first, I'm gonna need some iron. Which means I'm gonna have to go back. Oh wait. Infected flesh. A piece of flesh ripped off an assimilated creature. A basic crafting material. I left all my stuff in the mine. Alright guys, I will be back. You just stay safe. Hopefully these dogs can maybe protect you. I don't know if they'll be hostile to them. Or if the dogs can become assimilated themselves. So these things, they truly are parasites. Able to latch onto a host and transform them, even use them to cheat death. At least once. I did not expect to be getting into this so quickly. Called the Hive was activated when we fought that thing. I don't know if we need to be hit for it to start, but we do need to make sure that we keep our distance from those things. For all I know, it's on site. Alright, our stuff was left here. We're bringing all of this back. We need a bed, more importantly, we need materials. And we're gonna need a lot of stone, because tentatively, before I could think of anything else, we need walls. It is eerily silent in here. But with stone tools, I'm never gonna get enough stone to protect my people, and that's the first priority. I can't start learning anything until they're at least somewhat safe. Something's up there. No called the Hive. I think you need to inject us with some kind of pheromone. Question, is it possible? Oh, you're a witch. Sorry, you don't belong here. Who read you the script? But as I was saying, is it possible for us to become assimilated by their bite? I mean, what actually does it? It's very important that we know what it was that made it to the village and found that villager. Okay, you just got downgraded to a much lower priority. Look, we're up here. Maybe this is a chance for us to observe? Or maybe I should just go. Oh man. Like, I can feel the clock ticking on this village, but I need to get some iron. I'm gonna need some spider's silk. Need to make bowstring, need to make armor, need to make anything I can use to fight these things, preferably from a distance. Something died out here. It actually may well have been gotten by the wolves. 'Cause I sure didn't do it. Every time I return to the village, it's with the fear that it may not be there anymore. We've got to prepare the lab. So, we need a bed for us, because passing the nights is going to be an extremely useful tool. There we go. We're going to need a furnace. What was that? Okay, it was just a squid. You know, forgive me, but I'm a little bit paranoid right now about things with tentacles and long appendages. I'll never even see him coming, how close this backs onto the woods. I really worry if these things can take control of a human host. Can they do the same with animals as well? In fact, we need more space and we need security. And I can't think of a better place to do that than underground. Yes, up here is our living quarters. Down there will serve as both our lab and panic room. Night is falling. And that's actually a good thing, because maybe that'll allow us to see where these things come from, how they behave at night, and if they really have come out to the surface, or if that's just a fluke. Now, what we really need to start doing once this lab is completed is start storing our samples. A basic crafting material, assimilated flesh. So I guess it fundamentally changes the properties of what it takes. I've just realized the call of the hive is active on me. But that doesn't make any sense. I haven't encountered anything recently. What was that? Something just happened over there. And something died as well. Right. I'm gonna have to deal with you quickly. It's dark, but I need to see what might have been dropped. Here you come. Step into the light, will you? Once more, you're not immediately attacking me. You have the ability to multiply! Okay, well, it's a good thing we killed that other one when we did. Okay, the sword might be best for this. Oh. You just erupt into this flesh. Hang on, wait, maybe we can take this? No, you lead this stuff everywhere. I'm worried that you might be able to grow more from that. You don't even need a full host. Once you've got what you've got, you can use it. Oh, here you come. You guys are all over the landscape. Okay, so it's actually way worse than I thought. It's way worse than I thought. These things need to be destroyed. What are you? Is that some kind of like larval form of this? Okay, things are spiraling in a very big hurry. I think they might be using the local wildlife populations, even the mobs, to expand their reach. Yes, I definitely think they're infecting like the sheep and stuff. They're always hanging out near animals. All right, we need to get some sleep. Partly because we want to get rid of these regular mobs, but also these things are all over the landscape now, right? We need to see how they behave when they're exposed to daylight. I see some burning skeletons and some not burning creepers, but that's typical. I don't see any of the parasites. Nope. You guys have no problem whatsoever with being... you guys have no problem whatsoever with the daylight. We just do not have the means to put out the damage. What was that? One what? It just said one in the chat. Alright, lab finished. It's gonna be all we have to work with for now. It's an existential threat combined with the typical early game Minecraft lack of resources. Well, thankfully, these wolves are providing us with plenty of lamb chops. Okay, we're dealing with whatever just phased into reality. Oh, there's more than one! Assimilated Enderman! You spawned behind me and one-shot me. So that's what we're dealing with in this game today. Hey, it gives us a starter kit every time we respawn. I don't know if there's anything I can do about this. And there's assimilated me! This might not be doable. I can see the name tags out there. I need to get away from this village. I can't be bringing them back here. Unless we can intelligently utilize this. Oh my god. I think there might be some John Carpenter inspiration here. Wait. Okay, so you guys, your weakness is being unable to crawl under tight spaces. No matter how much you might try. But the damage you guys do is ridiculous. Die. Die. I'm hearing things come up behind. Look at you, your chest cavity torn open. It's important that we tear this stuff away. Look at all the remains of my attempts to study you guys. By study, I mean kill, repeatedly. You have to make sure that there's no trace left of these things. Not that it seems to matter, since they can apparently just manifest right in front of us. Well, lots of steel equipment, I guess. Alright, we've finally brought one of you down. Yep. And here comes you guys to join the fun! Okay, they have pushed me right back to the door. I'm not gonna lie, this absurdity is kind of making the storytelling thing I'm trying to do difficult. All of you is ridiculously fast and hits like a truck, and there's not a ton I can do about it. These little weevils are everywhere. And you're hitting me with all kinds of effects. Right, heal up. The villagers are right here. Where are they? They seem to maybe be... Oh, never mind. For a second I thought you were maybe damaged by water. I was hoping that the assimilated Endermen would have that problem. You know, it doesn't really seem like they do. What is that thing? Ah, I think that's one of the villagers. Break this window. Yet you don't seem to continue your aversion to water. That's what we need. We need a port. A port that we can keep you at bay from. It's night. I really hope everybody's staying inside. Just multiplying out there so much faster than I can do anything. They're more a danger to each other in the way they're just crowding like insects, crushing each other in a huge mound. It's in moments like this I actually kind of wish for creepers. Let's break this. See, I've mostly destroyed my own assimilations. These things are still coming, and every once in a while they'll get lucky. I think I've been poisoned. Fear. Fear is right. Let's barricade these windows. As long as they don't realize I'm in here, as long as they can't get in here, I think we're okay. So they really can't break down doors. I don't even know where to start right now. Well, at least we have plenty of weapons. Diseased heart. A grossly swollen heart harvested from an assimilated creature body. A lure component. I can see the assimilated out there alongside the living, just struggling to stay near each other. One trying to consume the other. Okay, get into the water. That's the only way we're making it away. We just need to lure them away. Oh my god, look at that. What happens when you dissolve in the water? Will it still create those smaller pieces? The water is the only way to keep you at bay. It seems like a lot of you, at least you guys, won't climb in willingly. The assimilated Endermen, though, they no longer share that weakness. Look at that, you're climbing on the rooftops? No, you will come if you see me. But the only thing we can do is get remote as possible. See, other villagers have had the idea. I can see one in the background. I think I just found my only hope. You know, climbing to freezing altitude after being drenched in the rain is not a great thing for long-term survival. Unless you have someplace to warm up inside. Whatever this is, it looks a lot more secure than where I came from. Certainly better than the dinky little basement I built under the lab, if one can call it that. Well, I guess it's as good a place to spend the night as any. Behind these locked doors, I can at least take some comfort knowing I won't be ripped apart and assimilated in my sleep. Rise and shine. The sun coming straight through my window. Haven't felt comfort like that in days. Well, let's start taking inventory. What kind of place is this for it to be so secure? It's got an airlock, metal doors, locks. Huh, gun parts. Look at this. Well, we didn't exactly hit the jackpot in terms of finished guns, but we did find the parts to make our own. How fortuitous! Man, getting all these materials might have taken hours and hours of record time, but instead we just find this place right here. That's nuts. Okay, now's the part where we get to balance the roleplay stuff with the I'm being straight with you stuff. Okay, so I did some reading on this mod, and no, we are absolutely not intended to be going off with the vanilla items. It's simply not possible. And in fact, because of some honestly kind of dumb mechanics, we may not even be able to do it with all this stuff. But with the help of Reddit, I've been able to cobble together a handful of useful mods that are recommended for helping to combat this threat, because knowing is half the battle, but battle is the other half of the battle, and we need to up our battle game big time. There were a number of mods recommended to help with that, and those mods were primarily Tech Guns, which adds a huge host of new weapons and armors, and modular turrets. So we can potentially even have some sort of automated defense. Now, each of these is very complicated in its own right, and they are not the focus of this mod showcase. I don't have time to learn all that stuff. I certainly don't have all that much time to spend on resource gathering. And so I've just given us a little boost here in order to point us in the right direction. To help us out, I've also installed just enough items so that we don't have to learn any crafting recipes by chance. And honestly, with the rate at which this thing overwhelmed us, it definitely feels like this is meant to be introduced as a late-game threat. Something you add to an already established world where you just want to burn it down and go out in style. It looks like we've got a little walk-in freezer with no door. Don't worry about that, but we don't have to worry about food. What is through door number 3? Looks like we've got ourselves a crow's nest. Someplace we can watch for any approaching parasites, signs of infection in the wildlife below, and potentially make an exciting escape if need be. So say if I wanted to do something like make a rifle. That's a bolt-action rifle. I can click on that, and I'll see that I need stained glass, an iron plate, a hardened barrel, iron receiver, and wooden gun stock. So the supply chain for stuff like this is actually fairly complicated. Thankfully, many of the parts we need are already here. There we go. Now, ordinarily, extra utilities would mean that we have to do a whole power grid in order to get stuff like this working. In the meantime, though, it does provide creative blocks, which I placed underground to sort of magically power them. And we can just say that they're being powered by these wind turbines on the roof. Yes, wind turbines, that's what this is. And the batteries off to the side of them. So, see, it's all perfectly explained. Man, I did not come here to learn how to play Minecraft Factorio. We've got a whole bunch of ammo. And if we come over here, we should be able to craft all of this into our very first firearm. This has really lost focus, I'm well aware, but we have the ability to do it now. So put you there, and there, and there. We need this somewhere in there, sure. And this somewhere in there also. There we go. Let's see what that's like. Look at that, we can even aim down the sights. That is so cool. See, all this complexity does actually honestly seem like the kind of thing that would appeal to me in the course of normal gameplay, but I'm on a schedule here. And right now, all I need is rifle ammo. But now that we've been here for a little while, I think they won't be far behind. I mean, you saw how fast those things could move in pursuit. Well, it's probably only the animals down there that have slowed them. They have plenty to eat, but that just means there'll be more coming. Let's put this thing to the test. Wow, look at that. There's even travel time. And it doesn't do the most damage. We will definitely need to get something better, but for now, it'll do. What are you? And for that matter, what are you? Oh, it is going to be real hard to hit a moving target with this. Look at that. Okay, I think you might be one of the new guys. And that one definitely knows we're here. Alright, it's begun. Oh, wow, there's actually a fair amount of spread to this as well. And all these zombies are spawning with armored tools now. And a whole lot of gibs, wow. Alright, this has been fun. But I think we need something more for self-defense while we're out there. Alright, we were left professional tools. Let's make some professional items. Oh, they're right outside. And so I was thinking maybe something like a combat shotgun. We already have everything we need. Thankfully, it seems like much the same things are used to build all ammo types, so we can actually manufacture huge amounts only using the stocks that are here. So we're not going to be running out of rifle anytime soon. Shotgun is getting ready. So that'll be you, you, you. How's our stuff coming? Thank you. Let's go a-hunting. Alright, where are you? I can already see you're attacking things outside. My hope that we would be safe so long as the Arctic remains cold is not holding true. I like this thing. Real punch to these sound effects. Some cheap stairs in order to get us easily up and down the mountain. This is always the problem with mountain bases. It's really easy to get down in a hurry, but not so easy to get up. There we go, the dreaded corner stair, the thing I always try and avoid doing. But at least so far, I'm pretty confident in this base. Although that may not be the case forever. Yep, that's me. I've officially become the person who sleeps with a shotgun by his side. Ooh, we're one-handing it. I think if we're going to go on further outdoor expeditions, it's important to not only track their progress out there, okay, that's just the usual mobs burning in the morning, but we've also got to develop ourselves some armor. This is really tense. We're up here on a mountain surrounded by sheep, knowing that those are a vector for infection. We've also got to consider the possibility that they can maybe hide it for a time, although I have no idea if that's actually a thing or not. I'm looking into some possibilities for armor protection, and it seems like they actually have a different metric for deciding how much it protects us. Like this, the HEV suit says +2 armor toughness, as well as rad resistance, so I guess radiation is a thing in this, but that's the least of our worries. And it seems we've already got the materials here to build a chest plate. Now, in order to make the HEV suit, we need titanium plates, and carbon fiber plates, and what else? Oh, the elite circuit board, of course. HEV suit chest plate. But we are not done just yet. So now we have our full HEV suit, and I just want to let you know that this thing is so detailed that it actually included the glass panes in the crafting recipe for the helmet. So let's don our armor and see how we do. Oh yeah, we are ready to fight some parasites now. At least I hope, because I think I've realized what that 1 means. I think it means that we were only at the first stage of their evolution. We saw them change as they overwhelmed that town. Hey! We don't want any! Oh yeah, no, that's cute. Oh my god! Alright, so I think the gore, or sort of like gore, might actually be an addition of the tech guns. What have I done to this game? Looky here. Well, look while you can. I wonder if other guns are more accurate. Whoa. Hey, you snuck up on me. And I'll sneak up on you. There we go. That's what we needed. What we really needed was samples, because remember, we can make things out of them. And that's still going to be the key. Just think of this as an upgraded laboratory, right? And right now, we need to go on the offensive. We need to go on the hunt. We never want things to build up to be as bad as they were before. As morbid as it is to say, I think not having villagers around will help with that. There's one. Yeah, they definitely seem to be more active at night, but remember, they are in no way restricted as such. Of course, I'm a little less restricted these days myself. Oh, I missed the zombie. I was aiming for the zombie, I swear. Something tells me we're gonna see the wildlife populations decline rapidly in the coming days. Along with whatever that thing is. I haven't seen you before. Well, you don't seem to be fast. Look at that thing. I think that might be the result. Did it drop any usable samples? It doesn't seem like it. I can't even tell what that thing used to be. I kind of thought of myself as the veteran, you know, the Ellen Ripley who's now seen everything after escaping the village, but I think we're just getting started. If we use, yes, okay, if we use copper nuggets, copper wire, and redstone, we can actually make ourselves a bunch of batteries. And I know just what to do with a bunch of batteries. This is going to make our hunting a lot easier. Oh my god. 1. And presumably we can use these extra batteries to restock that, but we have another menu here because this is endlessly complicated. We can put that there. And enable night vision. Now, we are a much more effective hunter. And I think we'll be best off doing it from up here, because I don't want to be caught out there now when things are getting way more dangerous. Look at that. It's not a typical night vision look. It simply gives us all sight. Sorry, but this just never gets old. And it looks like somebody's active down there. Oh, there's one down there. Trying to get at those squids, are you? There we go. It seems like there is at least a little bit of leeway. Of course, from up here, utilizing our ingenious escape system, we don't have to wait to climb down. It never feels like we're going to make it, though. Thankfully, the HEV suit allows swimming. We need to go investigate that viscera pile. Which is... well, actually, that's exactly the kind of thing I like to get up to. Meanwhile, nothing can really hurt us. Nothing natural, anyway. Let's make sure that none of this is around! Oh my god, they've evolved. I mean, I guess I sort of knew they would be able to do this, but it's still... somewhat unexpected. See how you like it. This is about more than Scape and Run now. So that's where those things come from. It comes from you guys dying in the light. Oh, wow, that... magic! Magic killed me. Look at him go, attacking all that. You guys are way more active at night, way more hostile when you want to be, which is why your more dormant state is interesting to me. Like, is that a behavior caused by being just earlier on? Or does the light actually affect it? Of course, when you have night vision, it's easy to forget just how dark out it actually is, but I think it's pretty clear at this stage. I'm gonna need more ammo. A lot more. And we need to start working on turrets. Oh, there's those little guys. These things cannot be allowed to persist. It's very important that we do population control. So what did we learn? This armor doesn't buy you much, even if it's like crazy advanced using all these materials. Of course, then again, I also know they have stats that allow them to hit through armor, and that's the thing. Once I had a look at the config, it really seems like they just kind of gave them the power to have all the powers. It doesn't really seem like there was much thought put into balancing it all. One of these things is around, I just can't find it. It's probably in a cavern under the base. And the fact that there are caverns under the base is kind of a big deal. Right now, the sound of these things are more an annoyance, like a fly buzzing in my ear. But soon, if the last experience is anything to go by, they'll be deafening, a surrounding ocean outside. We need to figure out what we can do with these things, start messing around with different combinations. I'm actually kind of starting to wonder if these things maybe come from space. Like, we always see that explosion right when they arrive. They're weakened. Will pause evolution points for approximately 10 seconds. Wait, what? Is there... So there's like a building evolution system. So how do I use this? All right, we've condensed it into a stone brick. And now we've used it. 10 seconds doesn't seem like a whole lot, although I guess that's the idea. We're supposed to be killing enough of these things to manufacture them on an industrial scale. Hoping against hope to at least delay it for a little longer. May not be worth it to do that right now. You know, maybe I spoke too soon. Call of the hive. Yep, it's on. Sun's going down too. Okay, I need to make this quick. Let's get 4 buckets of lava. This is for an absolute last resort, but one that I may end up needing. Really? Skeleton with a machine gun. This is not the B-movie I plan to record today. Wow, you are going to town on those zombies. And the zombies got you. So, if anything, at night we have a little bit of a balancing force. You guys have started to show up. There you go, kill each other, fine by me. See, the thing is, I think those count as a block, so yeah, it doesn't look like I'm actually going to be able to destroy them, even if I could hit them with this thing. Yep, there they are. Oh, there's you! Nope, get out of the air ducts. Or windmills, I think those are powering it. Was that the lure? Dude, I don't remember. Creepers can die regardless, because they're not going to do anything about these guys. Yeah, here they come. So I'm going to need you out of the way for this. See, the cool thing about the nature of Minecraft is that because it's so open-ended, because there's so many things for mechanics to interact with, we really can have the thing as a dynamic simulation. Being able to watch this thing spread and transform and grow. I'm actually now realizing that may not even be those impacts landing, at least not always. It could just be the mobs shooting. I keep forgetting that they do that now, but you know, the sense of infighting here just goes to further show how otherworldly, how not belonging here these things are. I mean, they do feel like something that's invaded the game. Let's become the nightly ritual. Stand out here, kill what I can, and then come out in the morning to scrape up the gunk. Oh, great. Great! Okay, we're slightly better equipped now, but... Wow, it really is just fear that does that. I'm not sure it's actually doing damage. It might just make me think that I'm poisoned or something. Maybe that's the fear. The yuckiness of touching them. Yes. Look at that. They hide in the caves by daylight. These things are crawling in every crevice. During the day, it may not even seem like there's that many, but this earth is already infested. They are right below us. You look like you're actually running. You tried to sneak up on me. Found that cave. I honestly can't tell with what I've learned whether they're coming from above or below. Nope. But it's very important that we not lose our night vision. I don't know, maybe the regular mobs are keeping things in check down here, or maybe it's just a constant battle. Either way, I need access to these resources. What is this? I want to identify every species of you. You seem to be some kind of subspecies of Ruptor. We're finding copper. We're even finding transformed humans. Okay, sand is always useful, because sand means that there's something up there, way up. But I think we've cleared out that little infestation, gotten all we can. Let's put some of those ores in there. It doesn't hurt to supplement our own supplies. And it seems like night is falling once more. We're doing a much better job at holding the line than we were before, but we need to be proactive. This is only going to get more difficult, and the time to prepare is now, not when we need the stuff. Now, we take this and we make a whole bunch of iron. Now we have a barrel tier 2. We do all that, and we have got our very first gun turret. Now we're probably going to have to make some ammo for it, right? That we need... Oh my god. Okay, no, I never expected it to be that easy. We can easily mass-produce ammo for this thing. Yep. Just place this right here, directly in front of the door. Oh, the perfect test subject. Thank you very much. How is the best way to do this? Okay, we need to put it on a turret base. You wait right there. Wait right there. Never mind me. I'm cooking something up. Being modular, there's actually a lot we can do with these different turrets, so I'm going to go ahead and pre-upgrade to sensor tier 2. We have just reached stage 2, so definitely going to want to get to work on that sensor pretty quickly. Still out there, bud? Okay, good, and you haven't grown either, so that's nice. That's nice. So let's place that here. Should be able to place our turret on top of this thing. Oh my god. Well, we can place that there. And for power, let's just give you one of these. There we go! That is so cool. I mean, it's not enough, and you will go through that ammo fairly quickly. The cool thing about this mod, though, is that there's all kinds of different attachments we can give you, upgrades to make you even better. And there's other types of turret as well, things that fire flames, lasers, rockets. In other words, it's all the fun parts of Factorio defense, which I cannot help but be reminded of constantly. Let's just build ourselves a ladder for ease of use, since we're going to be coming down here a lot more. It's very good having that extra tier of automated defense, and we might as well put a bunch of bullets in there, because we're not using them. We can configure the range, we can configure everything. And that keeps us a little bit safer. So the 2 tiers of defense of the base, as I see it now, are number 1, the turrets, and number 2, pouring lava into the entryway, which is why we always have a bucket in our inventory. Thing is, if they're chasing us down like that, if it's gotten that desperate, it might actually not matter. Plus, I'm really worried that at some point they're going to start breaking down these walls, in which case none of that entrance is going to matter. Oh yeah. Things are getting worse. Oh god. Come on. I want to be moving so that when it teleports behind me, it has a harder time hitting me. Okay, this is what we need. More tissue samples. Seems like our armor is helping at least a little bit. Use the rifle where we can. Maybe we'll craft a better one. Maybe it'll be more accurate. Know your target and what is beyond. And I know my target well. And thus begins the nightly event. I can actually use the gunfire from zombies as a gauge of where these things are spawning. You keeping things safe up there? Oh. I wonder if we could actually configure it to ignore you guys, because you're not really super worth the ammo, if we're being honest. Oh, hey, look at that! I just realized our suit consumed the batteries in our inventory automatically. That's pretty cool. So we're not actually in danger of running out of night vision in the cave. Here's the next question. Will the same technique that we used to make the lure the first time work for this as well? It will not. But since these things are a dime a dozen, we may as well make a whole bunch, right? There's 10 of them. I don't know if using them all at once actually helps us. And those are the weak lures. We can make better ones using other materials, but I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure how we make those. Probably using flesh we haven't obtained yet. Kind of seems like the zombie army down there is doing a pretty good job at keeping things clean, really. Is it ethical to cull the Enderman population specifically so that they... I should have known that would be the result. But is it ethical to cull the Enderman population specifically so that they can't be assimilated? I mean, I'm basically a park ranger trying to stem the tide of chronic wasting disease at this stage. No! That sheep just took the bullet for his friend. And the zombie couldn't bear the weight of it. Alright, shears do nothing to you. Buckshot definitely does something to you, so live and learn. I think we've seen what happens when a sheep and a ruptor interact. Propagation. I also saw something in the background there. We may as well take advantage when they end up in the water. That's when they're at their least mobile, and their mobility is their strength. There we go. Meanwhile, we got normal guys who I'd forgotten existed trying to sneak up on us. The sheep are rising up big time. Oop, no you don't. No you don't. It may be slight, but the fact that you're able to hit through this armor suggests some serious buffs on your end. Seeing evidence of the night's combat all over the place. Yeah, that's not my turrets doing that, that's only mobs. I'm still not sure how paranoid I should be about these things. I don't know. I would have to observe these constantly, and I don't feel like standing around. Actually, if we look closely, we can see bones sticking out of the flesh. I just can't help but feel that something definitely erupts from them, like it's some kind of egg. Wow, there is a battle happening down there. Glad it's not my problem. But it could be. Whee! Who's left? Oh! Imagine if I had brought this stuff on the Xenomorph mod. More stuff is more stuff. Yep. I always forget about this part. Thankfully, our armor does provide pretty good protection against you guys. As always, it's the Endermen who are a problem. I'm still not sure what these things right here are. But do these parts maybe spawn around these little nests that spring up? Like, are they just remains, or are they something that they use to kind of grow the infection? That's what I want to know. this point, it's all night, every night. I just hear the gunshots from the surrounding hillside. Alright, can we grab some of these guys? We can. Put that in and get more shotgun rounds made. Can never have too much. Creatures are showing up on the landscape now. But not if we have anything to say about it. It's all about controlling them. It's just, I can't stop thinking, you know, for the sake of the video, for the sake of science, do I let them spiral out of control? And I'm thinking no, I think it's better to see if I can hold them back, especially how thoroughly we were wiped before. Look at the way that sheep runs over the landscape. I've never seen one move like that before. Sounds like the turret's doing some work as well. Alright, you're welcome for the assist. At least one of those hit. Now, what are you killing? Can't tell. We're actually having problems here where we can't see these creatures sometimes even when they're attacking. Like, I'll see monsters getting hit, but won't be able to do anything about it. Look at that. The way you twitch and writhe on the ground while these things wait to hatch. Maybe I should just observe one for a little while. And it looks like the creatures are starting to kill the mobs more frequently. They're winning more often. Well, that little leech is gone. It's just a skeleton. Wow, those things are really low damage. It's like the lowest tier. Here, let me help. These sheep are showing up more and more frequently. Thankfully from here, they can't do much about me. They're not the most responsive fellows if their prey isn't right in front of them. Hang on, give me a second, my god. This game has come alive, I'll tell you that much. Turret's engaging something. Hearing that from a distance is always concerning. But there's so much being dropped down here, I can't miss out on these potential samples. Alright, where's your little buddy? No, little buddy, it doesn't happen every time. Great! Hey, unfortunately, I'm gonna need you to die. Before this thing takes hold. You there, zombie villager. You drop that actually even before you die all the way. But these are the things we're looking for. We found some of these in the village before. Maybe they only come from you. You're gonna start spawning more frequently. I want to get closer and observe how you move, but, well, it seems like your goal is to erupt the moment you're struck. Oh no, you're not gonna lure me. What I need are these things. We have a new type of flesh to work with. So let's see if this same configuration works. It does. This is considered a faint lure. Will pause evolution points for 20 seconds. We can make a couple of those. Looks like the turret was doing some work right here. But let's see, what's the difference between these things? They seem to look visually identical, but the cooldowns are double. And those increase as we get further flesh types, I'm imagining, but unfortunately, that's not really what I want to do. I just want to see just how bad it can get. After all, it's not like I still have anyone left to save. Alright, what's that? Okay, that's multiple creatures. And they're all hiding down there. No, it was not multiple creatures. That was, in fact, one twisted amalgam of flesh and viscera. And there's more where that came from. Whoa, you guys do it too. Alright, safe to say that all of them then have a head form, which has to be directly inspired by the thing. Fairly sizable cave here. Definitely going to be a lot within. The water will show us the way out. Here they come. Come on. Where do you think you're going? Overkill? No. Man, battle for the ages down here. Oh, we can't actually stop you from erupting like that. But I'm gonna have nightmares about what I saw while you were doing it. Is that uranium? Oh god, should I be down here? I know for a fact that these mods have a radiation system. Well, the suit does have rad protection. I'm actually not sure if it gives those same benefits while the suit isn't powered. I've never looked into making those RF energy cells, so maybe that's something we should go back and build. I'm just really trying hard to find a balance where this doesn't end up being about all these other extra complicated mods that we built up to deal with this. That's right. You know, it's so easy to forget that we are in total darkness right now. So probably a good idea to check on how many batteries we have left. We're still doing good. Do you see that? There's blood dripping down. Thing had nowhere to go. Worst thing right now would be to have Ruptors dropping down on top of me. Just like that. Yep, ow. Three. Everybody get it up for stage 3 out of I'm not quite sure how many. All I know is we're nowhere near finished. Kill what we can when we can. That's all we can do. What is this? Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Okay, the infestation in the Earth has reached critical mass. We are now actually erupting forward and planting new creatures on the surface. Does anything still remain here? Plenty, unfortunately. Do not be stingy with the ammo. Look at you, the way you flail your arms and run at me. Some of you guys seem more prone to quitting early than others. But that's your role. All of you has a different role in the greater infection, which makes me wonder if it's not just pure evolution or if there's some more intelligence to it. Nope. guns allow us to react quickly, but I'm starting to think also that your poison is maybe becoming more potent. Like maybe your actual damage and stuff increases as time goes on. You hopped that river. More of a creek, really. Doesn't matter. How we doing up here? Seems like you're just dealing with regular zombies and such. Oh, they can get up there. Alright, we're gonna have to fix that. You can also just spawn there. Wow! Oh boy. Well, at least it means we find them up here and not inside now. Look at all of these lab specimens we've got. We just cannot stop killing, it seems. There goes our turret. Looks like it's doing work on this snowy night. So here's the thing. Normally I wouldn't want to peek behind the curtain and only restrict my commentary to things that I'm discovering myself through gameplay. However, this is a really complex mod. There is a lot going on under the hood. And I want to make sure that this video is informative as to what this is actually doing, because otherwise it could just evolve into me killing these things forever until eventually they overrun me. And I want to give you an idea of how they actually progress, because that's something we might not be able to find out on our own. Now, according to the wiki, their progression is not dependent on time, but rather on gaining points. In the background, as they wander around, they're actually working on, like, certain tasks that enable them to gain points. Now, how do they gain those points? Well, it's exactly what you think. They're moving around the map, consuming mobs, consuming blocks, and essentially gaining biomass and asserting influence on the world itself. Now look, I've been having a whole lot of fun with this, and even in spite of my best efforts, things are progressing at a steady rate. But I'm trying to show this mod off here, and what if I don't want things to progress at a steady rate? Another thing that I read on that wiki is that killing them does help stem the tide. So let's stop doing that. Let's let it build. Let's see just how bad this can be. In the meantime, I've also learned an additional bit of information that can help us to track just how this is progressing. So what we're going to need for this is some of this. Put you there. And here. Hey look, an ordinary clock. Well, it is right now, but it doesn't have to remain so. I've been wondering what we do with this infected flesh. But maybe we can use tissue samples as a means of determining just how much this is progressing, you know, on a cellular level. And so now we can craft the bloody clock. While dripping blood, the clock ticks toward a terrible midnight. I love this flavor text, I'll tell you that much. So now anytime we right-click on this thing, it'll display the number, in this case level 3. Good to have in our inventory. But for right now, I may not be killing monsters anymore, only the ones that try to come up here. But since things are going to get worse, I'm not going to be sitting idly. No, we are going to improve our defenses for any eventuality. Under the protection of our turret, let's start proofing this place so that nothing is able to tear through these walls, nothing is able to wrench through those bars. We need to make sure that there's simply no way to get here. Let's just get ourselves a bridge right here. I believe we have some stairs for making that connection. Turret right above, and this will act as the first line of defense. Oh my god! I don't know why you delayed so much in attacking me, but hey, we learned that the moat works. Thanks for the assist. Look. Oh my... There's a bunch of little things beneath it. It's laying eggs! Okay, that might be something we have to deal with. A green status effect when we hit you. And you can fly, and here I am building a moat. Oh no. Alright, anti-air cannon doing its stuff. None of that seems good. Okay, so their methods of propagation have just increased massively. Maybe we should be slowing them down a bit, at least until our construction projects are finished. What are you? I'll tell you what you are. You're something I want to get a closer look at. Look, we're still only on level 3, guys. We're on level 3 out of 10. You used to be like a pig or a cow? Oh. Wow, you ate bullets. Did you drop anything of note? Ow. You emit a noxious cloud. Oh, you guys have continued to progress as well. Out of the way, sheep, I'll save you. Yet not all of you emit that poison, but it's certainly a thing. You know, that was one of the worst things about Alien, was how even when you're killing it, you're getting killed by it. It's acid blood. Well, some of you guys have something similar, it seems. Yep. There's a party under the cliff, and I'm not invited. What is that thing? You know, I'm constantly torn between wanting to let the infection progress and wanting to collect samples. Our inventory is also full of lava, which I need to defend against you guys. There's something on the ground there. These things are pretty slow. Oh my god. That venomous cloud infects others. Hang on, there is a lot going on right now. It's a good thing we're so much more combat capable. You're really interrupting something. Oh wow. The weeds are growing in like crazy this time of year. Not that kind of destructible. We can pick you up. Vacuous cyst. Ew. This one's got some strength to it. Get a little closer. You're dropping something new. Okay, what don't we need? We don't need bones. Dispatcher membrane. A coating of dispatchers peeled off their corpse. And it looks like they're leaving some sort of new material around as well. Oh, our inventory is just always so full. We don't need this stuff. Take more of these, do some more research. Woo. Were you a wolf, maybe? Okay. More samples being collected. And I think we may have just reached 4? No, not even. So what was that? Mandicator orb. A small orb which seems to emit energy. Harvest from a mandicator body. A crafting ingredient for weapon components. We can start turning the parasite against the parasite. I think. You've been doing a lot of killing up there. In fact, you've been doing a lot of killing on the roof. So that's something I should probably be concerned about. But in the meantime, let's just start pouring lava wherever we can within this moat. Yeah, starting from higher up is probably better. Let it spread out more. Okay. So here's where we're going to want to be careful not to fall in. That goes double for you guys. Oh, wow. I think I've actually exhausted all my shotgun ammo again. Okay, we're going to have to build some more. It may be a bit crude, but this should keep out the worst of it, at least for now. Provided we also add some lights to the roof. Let me in, please. In the meantime, all we can really do is sit here and wait for the worst to pass. Let's see if these things get us anything new. Nothing from the dispatcher membrane. Or the cysts. The main purpose of digging down beneath the walls, though, is really so that if something does have the ability to break through them, at the very least, even if we can't stop them from doing that, we can make sure that other things aren't able to pour in behind them. At least that's the idea. We've got to stack our advantages. This mod does actually have a delaying mechanism on the evolution in that it can't actually gain points or lose them within 20 minutes of gaining a new level. So we're going to use a command to get around that, and so now they can immediately keep gaining points as soon as it happens. Their momentum cannot be stopped. I think what I like the most about the mob infighting and everything we've been seeing here is that it all matters. When these things grow, when the problem gets so much worse, it's not just because of an arbitrary timer, it's because things have been getting worse out there. And we know that no matter what we do during the day, no matter how much we clear, this fight is always happening down in the caves, and what happens down there always makes its way back up here. You get to live for now. What do you see, boy? Oh, it's one of you guys. And it seems to have had the good sense to hide. Well, so long as it does that, I suppose we can be welcoming. You just, stay far enough away that the porch light can't see you, and you're out of turret range. I like to be hospitable. Oop, you screwed it up. Whoa!
Narrator, narrate system.
Yeah, I was just trying to turn you off, and I saw all that happen. Yeah, Junior, you seeing this? This is crazy. I actually do think that these enhanced zombies are slowing things down. They're working in my favor. Oh, wow. Hey. Oh, that sucks for you. You guys are a little too smart for your own good. You know that? Off you go. You're not what I built this for, but it works. There you go. Good stuff, turret. You and your teleporting properties. We've reached level 4, and with it, new challenges. See, part of me just wants to idle, and I am cutting a lot of time here. But, I don't know, I'm just worried that I'll be away and something will start tunneling its way through my walls, or even from beneath. We already know they're living beneath. I'm seeing some more of those cysts out there just dotting the landscape. They're like no different from the red roses that are all over the place to begin with. And that's one of the cool things about this mod. how you become increasingly isolated the more you have to circle the wagons to defend yourself. Every time I go out there, I get a little bit closer to dying now, and it seems like it goes from being they are an intrusion in our world to we are the last holdout in theirs. It's giving us time. The mechanics are such that we have time to build ourselves to this point, and I understand things are moving at a much accelerated pace in this video. We started with them at the beginning, but I also gave myself a huge starting advantage. I think these are supposed to be added later in a playthrough, when you feel like nothing can touch you. Does not seem fair. These Endermen are so stupid. Well, now we gotta go get our stuff back. What is this? Look at that, we're even wearing our suit. See, here's the problem now, is that once you die, your stuff is with them. Got my stuff back, dumped what I didn't need, but that thing doesn't seem to be here anymore. I am noting a huge balance problem with this, where it seems like, first of all, that they are actually increasing in their individual stats, not just in terms of the creatures, because even Ruptors are one-shotting me without armor now. Everything is. What's going on up here? Guy, I just got back. Man, that's a sound I've not heard before. That's a name tag. Is there a one of me still down there? Hey there, sheep. Come to see the show? Look at you! Flying enemies! Couldn't see you in the dark and snow. Alright, there you go. You dropped something. In fact, you may have even dropped that cyst. Is it even a different kind, maybe? Alright, you're still doing okay. 32 kills. Let's have a look. Gotta really be careful on that dismount now. What is this? That could actually be good. That could force them to do some jumps and possibly screw them up when they're trying to maneuver around the lava flow. John is not impressed. What, John like from the John Carpenter Garfield comics or something? Because that's what it looks like to me. Yeah, no, I think the Parasites have just won the arms race against the mobs. Let me through. God, strange bone. What do we use this for? An unusual bone that you don't see every day. Alright, things are getting real now. And it's kind of funny that as of this moment, my only real concern is those Endermen. But, oh my god. We're seeing a huge increase in strangeness all of a sudden. We need to make some more of those bullets. How did we do that? You're gonna need a lot more ammo. We're probably gonna need more turrets at this rate, because they're just too slow. Whoa! Wait, are we maybe having shock troopers? Yep! They're blowing up here. You just straight up attacked my walls. Oh my god, what are you? Oh, this is just gonna kill me. Alright, hide. Let the turret do what it can, but what it can is maybe not enough. And slip under, get a good angle. Not until we've got more health. That armor didn't do much for me. You completely destroyed the top of this thing. Whoa! Yep, down in here, oh my... You can just drop huge chunks of acid to dissolve us. Okay, thankfully you didn't dissolve through there. Maybe we should start building out of regular stone. Maybe it counts that as, like, terrain or something. So much for that moat, huh? Where are you? That turret's trying its best, but it's just not enough. What did you drop? Was it something I can catch? Well, you're dropping more of these cysts everywhere. And they seem to be burning something. Do you catch items, maybe? No? You're acting as a chest. Alright, well, we don't need these swords. Oh, that poor, poor turret. Hang on, can I... Wait, yes, look! Oh, look! That's not what I meant to do, but I see what you're doing. Those are the items that it took from the roof. It consumes them and then drops them across the landscape in these little digestive sacs. So, you know, that's wild. You guys may have even been here for a while, honestly. Considering we've been finding these things around. This mod certainly keeps finding ways to keep this interesting, doesn't it? I mean, they are actually capable of directly assaulting a base. You know, years ago, back in like the beta days, I installed a mod that allegedly allowed mobs to try and break down doors and tunnel into underground bases, because I wanted something exactly like this. Well, careful what you wish for. That's right. I don't know what would have happened had I touched that gelatinous cube. Advice for life, really. Patch that roof. Get up there. We are definitely going to need more bullets for this thing. Probably, actually, we're going to need to start looking into the next tier of turret. An yellow eye bone. A sturdy bone harvested from a yellow eye body. Crafting ingredient for weapons. Little guy, you are more useful than you know. 39 kills, but like no ammo. Can hear things all over. I think it's pretty clear at this point that we are going to be overwhelmed well before we reach level 10 at this rate. This is the kind of thing that is meant to overwhelm a server full of people with top-end gear. God, and I was trying to do this vanilla. I can't see anything. Ow. Whoa! And, a meat... See, everything insta-kills me. I'm wearing, like, high-end armor. Wait, it said adapted yellow eye. What does that mean? Turret's out of ammo. I seem to have found a spot where I can do something. Goodbye. So does... You're just completely destroying the base now. No, you don't. No, you don't. Can we even stay here? I need to find out what this adaptation thing is. Look at this. Friggin' look at this. That looks like something tunneled in from below. Something huge, by the way. Whatever you are down there, you're not being burned by this sufficiently. Oh, it's one of you. You're trapped. And you leave one of those right there. You had to dig into the wall to do that. I've also noticed a massive increase in lightning, which doesn't seem natural, so I think that has something to do with you guys, possibly? Who knows, maybe we're just on the top of a mountain. Maybe it's a biome thing. But the point is, I want to make something heavier to help deal with this. And we have ourselves a minigun. So let's see what they think of that. Okay, so we got you over there. Let's see how this thing does at range. Okay, not great. It's going straight towards you. Speaking of, what are? Because you're not the thing from a second ago, you're a giant friggin' spider. Oh, you can lure me in with the web! And dispatch gray nonsense. Yeah, no, you are very, very much a boss fight. Unless we can dump hundreds of rounds per second into you. But did you drop something new? Toxic lung. Okay, you're a lure component. One thing we've never really done is try to combine lures. So, I don't know, maybe we can mess around with that? Ooh, look. Look, look. They've taken over blocks, or at least placed some. There's more of that dirt that we were seeing earlier. Now, playing nice with you may not be an option anymore. Arachnida claw. Is that supposed to be a combination of arachnid and echidna? Terrifyingly sharp claws harvested from an arachidna corpse. Okay, we'll need to do some more science on them. Do we have a pickaxe? We do. Dispatcher Nidus. Curious as to what you do. Using a combination of giving myself stuff and making stuff, including this fabricator, I have been able to get myself some power cells, energy cells, which have had, look at that, some unexpected effects. We're faster. I'm not sure if we're more survivable, but it seems like, oddly enough, this chestplate has never lost any durability. But here's the thing, I was looking into armor because I was like, okay, that we have clearly progressed far beyond my abilities there. And it seems like even the best armor in the game right now, granted it is modded, is only about 50 to 75% better. Maybe we can increase that with upgrades. I actually tried making an upgrade and it didn't work. Or at least I couldn't put it in the HEV suit, so maybe it's only for power armor. Either way, things are spiraling out of control big time. We have jump jets. Okie dokie. I'm seeing a lot of name tags down there. Well, you picked the wrong day to mess with me, because I'm kind of annoyed right now. Would you believe I'm still underpowered? What's going on out there? You guys, you are the bane of my existence right now. Anything that flies, and anything that sits on the edge of my vision. Imagine if we just had like a CWIS system instead of that turret. I mean, if it can shoot down a cruise missile sometimes, it can stop you. Oh, look, those things on the ground, they're dispensing growtiness and creating new forms. They're getting tougher. They're not invincible, like they don't have a crazy amount of health, it seems like. It's just that I'm not gonna survive long enough to make them lose it. You guys being around is just not okay at all. You know enough to try and evade, that much is clear. Monsters getting bigger, faster, stronger. And all the little guys still here to fill things out. And the big ones always seem to show up right as I'm reloading. Come on, that was a headshot. That creeper was a just complete no-sell on me. Which is, honestly, I think that's what this mod is really for. Like, for all the problems here, I do think it's meant for a situation where you've already built up on the server, not something that is around from the beginning and it's an arms race between you two, because that's when you're going to lose with the way this works. Actually, you know what I'm thinking now? That's actually not necessarily true. And here's me seeing the potential in this, because, you know, a lot of people do play Minecraft multiplayer, even if I don't really. And imagine this. You have people going out there all the time trying to stem this tide, killing as many enemies as possible to set them back points. Meanwhile, you're delaying their progression because they're bringing all the little pieces that they find out here back to base. And so there are those who go out and fight, and those who hang back and research and build items, make new defenses, and more importantly, build those lures. Friendly fire isn't. Jeff. Jeff. For a second, I was thinking you might be a Half-Life Alyx reference. Anyway, you're gone now. Look, these things are even forming in pockets underwater. The entire landscape is nothing but this now. Oh, did you explode on me? I couldn't tell, because of my power armor. It was made very clear that it was high time for this to happen. You reload. Fortunately, the minigun actually uses the same rifle rounds as the rifle. Look at that, you are blowing right through the landscape. Hey, guys, wait, no, Yellow Eye. You wanna help me test my new CWIS system? Oh, I need one of these for the roof. Yeah, that poison does actually affect me to a fair extent. What are these? Altered tendons. Yeah, I think we've grown officially beyond rifles and shotguns. The extra movement actually helps me more here than the armor does against you guys. Of course, there's still those giant ones. This almost sort of implies that you're like players on the server, you know? Like you're a mutated form of somebody else. Well, that was a waste of ammo. I'm not even bothering to clean things up anymore a lot of the time. Tell you what, this thing would probably be pretty effective in a tunnel, wouldn't it? And we've not been down there in a while. Never underestimate air defense. The last stage may not be what you want, but look, we don't have Patriot systems yet. Oh, hey, and you've opened up the tunnels for me. Coming through. Okay, let's not waste our ammo on this. We're almost halfway through that. Stage 5. Look at this, it's only now that we've reached halfway. The more time goes on, the more I'm starting to see what this is really intended for. Groups of people doing all they can. A true challenge for those who kinda wanna lose. There's a certain point where it'll just be too much unless you really are just that good. But I think it's supposed to be done with a group. I think it's supposed to be done with a group who has a lot. Altered tendons, those make slender lures, which pause things for 50 seconds. Once more though, we don't want that. We want to keep progressing and see what happens. There's a huge variety of enemies in this game, and the mechanics behind them are actually insane. Like, it's definitely not tuned at all for one person, that much is clear. But when I was looking through the config earlier, I was seeing like, oh wow, this is really deep behavior. Like, there's so much going on that it doesn't really spell out for you. But Everything is very much dedicated to the experience, and honestly, that's the kind of thing I really appreciate in stuff like this. It's about watching this situation turn from an annoyance to almost a game-breaking end over a period of time that you actually have some ability to control. Like, it's important to note the difference between trying to see everything for a video and how these things would actually play out. Like, I'm trying to let this progress, and before it seemed like I was having no problem keeping this at bay, but imagine if this was a server you actually cared about. Imagine if this was something that you were trying to make last as long as possible and not just a couple hours. It would feel inevitable that you're gonna lose this. Look at those. I just noticed the boils all over your back. But it feels like the kind of thing that's really meant to be played over days or weeks. Are you breaking blocks up there? Oh my, I can't stand that sound. That's making me want to shake the bugs off my arms. God. You know what I'd actually like to see? And this would be so cool. It's like a long-term server project! No, you weren't above me. You were below me! No, reload, 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 reload. That thing's gonna be coming soon. I did not expect to be encountering Shelob down here. And Shelob's nephew, Marty. Anyway, as I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted, you know what I would like to see as like a long-term server project is a group of players. Oh no, I think I finally ran out of battery. Well, what do you know about that? All right, that sucks. Thankfully, it's just the middle of the day. Oh wait, no it's not. Thankfully, we have lava down here to light our way. Without this exit, we wouldn't be able to see anything. Oop. No, you don't. You Endermen, you're doing a lot of fall damage to yourselves. Wow, that's a lot of stuff going on. Your guns are actually causing me considerable grief right now. So as I was saying, before I was so rudely interrupted, like 6 different times in a row, my god, is that what I would like to see as a long-term project is like a group of people surviving on a world like this, and not only surviving, but actually trying to beat this thing back, because something I haven't mentioned, actually that I've only just learned, is that that is possible to do. But I had mentioned before that they are constantly increasing their threat level by assimilating mobs and blocks and all that stuff, and we've been beating it back by placing lures and killing them. But there is actually a way, just one way, to reverse their progress. For that we need lures, but those are only one part of this. So what we need here is a 7x7 area, marked here, measured out with dirt. And you here, and you right here in the middle. Scent is active. See, everything about this seemed more in the scientific realm, more like an infection. This feels more like a ritual. But anyway, that will have decreased their points. In this case, we probably didn't send their level back. They've been building for a bit. But it is theoretically possible to do that. We also got the minimum amount of points back because we used the lowest level lure. It does level with lures. Well, 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 if it isn't my arch nemesis, the Enderman. You're leaving guys in your wake. The cool thing is, like, when something is done being used, like ammo, it actually deposits the empty magazines into your inventory here. Tech guns is really cool, has been the main takeaway from this mod for me. You're a banned item. It's taken a while, but this hillside is finally completely devoid of non-infected animals. Over there, still doing a little better, but you can already see the encroachment happening. I wonder if the sheep can tell the difference. Okay, what was that? Concerning is what that was. Oh boy. Oh boy. Hey, you're not allowed there. I made it mad. I made it really mad. I don't think it cares about my moat. I don't think it cares about my minigun either. Reload more quickly, please. What is that? Thanks for melting my snow. I already have a guy for that. Oh, it's very poisonous. How are you still alive? Light bomber. That's a light bomber. What is going on with you? Things are grabbing me through the floor now. So that used up like 2 full minigun mags? Oh, hey! Once more, just teleporting into my base. Well, have I got something for you? Where's that Enderman at? See, if you didn't attack directly, but just drop stuff off, that might be kind of neat. That could be like an infiltration mechanic. But that's like a whole thing. I'm trying to give myself stuff as little as possible, but there's a lot of materials that this adds that I don't have. Plus, that's a lot of time building, and I'm trying to get through this as quickly as possible. We have seen a lot, though. Like, we're approximately halfway through what this mod has, and we've seen a massive amount. Hey there. So, I'm gonna need you off my planet immediately. Oh, you come in a swarm! You'll disappear into the ground as well. Okay, yeah, so once more we're going into things that can just sort of show up and murder you instantly. It's increasingly seeming like the only thing we can do with some of these is run, and the only reason we can run is because of the armor. Look at this. They have been hollowing this place out. You know what this is? This is a pocket of regular dirt, I think. Regular dirt spawning in a mine, and grass grew all over it. There you are again. Can we do a little better if we try evading you? I can definitely see you've made this place home. Will those things come out to fight these guys? I think we've got to utilize motion more. That's the big thing. Yep. Getting away. Of course, those things die quite easily, and so do the zombies. Armor can only take us so far. Not getting hit gets us farther. So I'm wondering then, does this dirt stuff over here cause you to spawn? Like, do you build nests, and do you kind of come up around your own stuff? Oh, it looks like you were affected by whatever. I wanted to see if something would spawn from your corpse, but I probably should have just kept watching you. We've got small and large variants of this. And, yep, you are all over. Yep, we need to get out. We need to get out. Go, go, go. If nothing else, so that we can recover our gear. Wow, you actually have a lot of health. You're not one of those Shelobs, are you? And also, what is that purple effect? That was happening with the bomber as well. I'm wondering... if that's not actually something of a protection. Closest scent was notified. Okay, yeah, no, if we stop moving for even a second, you can just kind of come up all around us. You guys can probably do this in our base. In fact, I know you can. Wait, does that mean a static base is, like, untenable now? Everything is poisonous, everything is fast-moving, everything hits like a truck. I can't even stop long enough to take something out. Oh my god. Look at that! What? I can't even stop long enough to switch weapons! What? Well, from that pile, we got something called a Reeker Fang. What can we do with that? Now, there are a whole bunch of weapons and armor we can make from a bunch of the corpses of these things. They do actually a fair amount of damage, but nothing really compared to the damage output of a minigun or something like that, so given that we're just getting these things now, and some of these things we don't even have yet, I can't imagine they're all that useful, especially melee weapons, by the time you get to this point. And that's the thing with this, is I feel like you really need to tune this yourself. There's a great mod here, there's a really cool mod here, but you need to tune all of this yourself because it is massively overtuned to start with. Like how things can just do that? I think it's safe to say the mobs have long ago won the war against the regular zombies. Man, look at all of you jittering down there. Ah, they're like necromorphs from Dead Space. Even the animals look like they've progressed. And that's something that's really cool about this too, is that later stages of enemies, well, they look like an evolution on earlier ones. They're not just new ones. Of course, there are those that you can't account for. Those frequent storms mean more and more as time goes on. You just know that every time it's depositing something big into the world. We're fast reaching the point where it's not really fun or even playable for a single person without going into the config and changing a whole ton of values. I was actually looking up discussions on this to see what people were saying about it, and it seems like a lot of people just disabled the Endermen and stuff entirely, but even still, we've got some really fast boys out here. You... Look at that, you come with a little pet. If I can step out my door and have that happen, I think there's nothing more for me to do as a single player. The only thing I want to do now is, well, take this thing to the end, see what a level 10 world looks like. Well, I suppose we've finally gotten what we wanted. An overrun base and waiting to freeze to death on the roof. Oh, and there I am, just kinda hopping along the wall like a child. Look at that, my turret, even with no ammo, is still trying to defend this place, so that's kind of inspiring, I guess. Like, sure, give people the option to change it. I'll never have anything against letting people change things. But it should be a good experience out of the box. Wow, you're even subverting the moat now by draining it. It makes me wonder why they bothered to add all this complexity if you're just gonna do stuff like this, but at the end of the day, I can't help but praise it for having that complexity. And, oh my god, these enemies are so cool to look at. They almost don't look like they belong in Minecraft, I guess that's the point, but dude, these things are just so awesome, and there's a million of them, and they have all these behaviors. It's also definitely intended to be used with other mods, and, well, against these enemies that aren't just blatant nonsense, I actually feel like I'm holding my own. No, you don't. No, you don't. Okay, top off, top off. Oh, there's always big guys down here, and you know what? This is the kind of thing where it actually inspires me to start adding more mods. I mean, imagine coming down here, seeing this huge nest, this huge hive. and mounting a mission with several of your friends to come here and plant like a nuke or something underground. That's the cool thing about Minecraft. It really invites modding systems. Things that can be as simple or as complex as you want, and you can add to the experience whatever you want. It really is a modular game, and those mods are modular themselves. Your balancing sucks, but the potential you bring is super valuable. And I had actually more fun than you would think playing this. That sound design is really cool too. It all feels so gross, you know? I mean, it does a great job of making this feel so unnatural and like something that slithers over everything, consuming. Hang on, here's how we deal with solicitors. You just never know what's going to come up next, and I think that's where a lot of the joy in this is. It's definitely a true endgame threat, and you could definitely have some fun, especially with friends. Something's shooting at me and dissolving the map. Oh, there you are! Oh! Look at that! You did dip into my moat. You know, it doesn't actually bother me that this is an end-of-the-world threat, because if you're installing this, that's what you wanted. I think the coolest thing about this is actually the fact that there's kind of a strategic layer to it, that you can do things proactively to keep the world clean. It doesn't feel ever like they're just spawning in a vacuum. Even if sometimes that is the behavior and it just spawns things that insta-kill me right next to me. Oh, right, you can... There you go. Well, tell you what, I was really hoping to do all this in one video, and I don't think there's really anything to be gained in watching me just kind of do this for like 4 or 5 more levels. So I've gone ahead and gone on the wiki, and I got the command to set us to... It says level 8. I saw in one place that it goes to level 10, but this says replace with anything from -2 to 8. Now we're on level 8. Oh. Hey, you! You know, sooner or later I should probably turn the subtitles on so that we can have a peek at what these things are actually called, just for reference. Subtitles on. This being a mod, I'm not sure if it will or not. And sorry if there are certain things that I'm a little bit redundant in saying, because, you know, like I said, I'm playing this over like 11 hours or so, and I've voiced things a couple of different times in a couple of different ways. And something else I really appreciate is that along with the enemy variety, they've also introduced item variety, and the fact that there is a scientific layer that meshes with the combat and strategic layers. You can use them for both things. I do wish it was a little bit more clear, if there was more guidance beyond just enough items to tell you how to use them. But maybe there is, I don't know. I was definitely playing this at an accelerated pace. But let me know what you think, and let me know what your ideas are for this kind of thing, because I think the sky's the limit when it comes to Minecraft, and that's why these mods are so cool. Who's that down there? Is that a teleporting spider creature? I hate you. We have seen you before, though. Yep. Adapted Reeker, yep. Well, I think we're about done here. What, you... Wait, why am I here? Did you destroy my bed and all that? Well, I think that's about the end of this world as well, but we certainly held out a lot longer than the first time. Look, if we come up here, we can see our own assimilated body. We can see the monsters just swarming all over our former base. Are they inside? No, but they might as well be. Well, look, if we're calling it on this one, and the otherworldly whoops, why don't we have some fun with this? Why don't we see just what it is we didn't see? Oh, well, look at you guys just spawning in over there. Those are, I believe, what we call the Ravagers. And man, you are just spawning and spawning and spawning. See, this is the point in the mod when you would need to use things like nukes. And maybe it's a good time for us to start looking for them. Look at this. They've actively started to corrupt large portions of the mountaintop. Look at this. All these screaming, dripping mouths, endlessly reproducing. There truly is nothing to be done anymore. Well, nothing but one thing. Let's get some distance. It barely made a dent. I mean, it destroyed the side of the mountain, but it didn't even kill most of them. In fact, this thing even survived, just fell down and continued doing what it did. This is absolutely insane. Okay, well, let's just continue doing it then. Honestly, at this stage, you would need to carpet bomb this place with them, and even then, it wouldn't be enough because of what lives underground. This is just such a cool, world-ending threat. The way everything just spirals, the way it gets so hopeless, and it feels more legitimately hopeless because you were trying to stop it the entire time. Walking Ender Dragon Head. This thing really can assimilate just about anything in the game, can it? Well, how well does something like this do? Not bad. But just look at this. The fact that throughout all of this, it's consistently been showing us new things for like hours at a time, and it still isn't even close to all of it that we've seen. Absolutely wild. Darkwood sapling. Are those biters gonna come out of it? There's primitive and adapted versions of many of these. There's pretty much multiple infected forms of just about every NPC in the game, and then some. Even a warden. Okay, well, I've got all these spawn eggs here, and we've got plenty of time to just mess with them. So I'll just pick some at random. That is a crux. That might actually be some kind of man-bear pig. Look at you. We hadn't seen nothing. A heed. Oh my god. A mangler. Which is really just a giant ruptor. Beckon stage 4. So this is something that probably grows throughout the game. Oh, you're one of these. Yeah, we saw a couple of you. So what is that you're doing there? And I love these atmospherics. The fact that it becomes a constant storm as these things rain down. Because the thing is, in horror, a lot of the time, it's not just what's happening, it's the circumstances that it's happening in. And this mod actually gives a lot of thought to making sure that your circumstance is as horrifying as possible. Wow, you are just tearing your way through all of this. I'm guessing that's your whole point, right? You're like a berserker unit that tears through defenses. You're causing all manner of creatures to spawn around you. And I guess the bigger you are, the more you can spawn, right? In fact, you even spawn more spawners. So that's how your nesting mechanic works. And this is... where we'd want to use the nukes. Node. I thought we were reaching endgame nonsense. As it turns out, after a while, this thing just opens the portal to hell and never closes it. This mod is so cool. These things are all just floating around in the dark. An endless fog, an endless storm. However, excuse me, I don't think I'm done spawning stuff yet. This is a vigilante. A kyphosis. Oh, you're a fixed unit. What are you? A warden. A walking horsehead. And a feral bear. They just become one big mouth. Dude, you could totally just run this as like an infection simulation on a pre-built city. Look at this. Even the water is starting to change in places. We're seeing it take over. What I love the most about this mod is how hopeless it is and how interactive it is, and how it's more hopeless because of how interactive it is. This is something that you can manage for a long time, maybe even entirely if you're really on the ball. But over time, you'll slip up. Things will go wrong, you'll be just a little bit too lax, and every time that happens, they get just a little bit further ahead. And slowly but surely, it runs away from you until your whole world is consumed. In other words, the way you have to think of this, the way you play it, constantly changes as you go. I think this is a dread, I think this is a hopelessness that I have never seen better expressed in a game before. Alright, let's just try a few more and then we'll wrap it up. This was way too big to cover in one video, I realize that now. Primitive Tizoon? Okay, I can't... Okay, you're either invisible or you tunnel in the ground. A Caesar, which we encountered you before. Your job is to hold us in place while other things finish us off. That was a wraith, and a wraith you are. Now, these two, these spawn eggs look very different from the others. We're seeing tall shadows on the horizon. The ancient dreadnought. Essentially a kaiju level threat. And the ancient overlord. I had said in the beginning that this was reminding me a lot of The Thing, and that's certainly held true, but there's certainly inspirations coming from other places as well. For example, some of this stuff, some of the images we're seeing, I can't help but be reminded of, like, the Cloverfield movies. Well, in any case, I don't think there's any point in me switching to survival now. And if you like this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more creepy and comfy content. If you have any ideas for other videos you think I should do, the best place to suggest that will be at the Discord, which I will link in the description. If you want to try this mod out for yourself, that link will also be in the description. If you want to support me on Patreon, that link will be in the description. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.